Hello, welcome back to Seas of Time, session 2.5. Yes, session 38. Glad to have you, and I'm glad to have this wonderful cast of wonderful people with me for another fun night as we dive back into the world of Seas of Time. Let's catch up from what happened last week, shall we? Our party uh, took a poll amongst themselves whether to accept the deal from Aterion, the one that owns Aterion Spas, to assassinate a particular assassin lord deep within Snake's Vice, a district of La Cachelle. They decided that they would pursue other avenues, namely, from a recommendation of Kimmy, the Temple of Laka. Uh, they made their way there and encountered a few instances with the Federation where they acquired some Federation approved contamination gear. They also visited the Academy, a rival school of Kimmy's own Bard School, uh, and they managed to um, ward off the rambunctious Academy scholars there before an altercation occurred. And finally, the party found the temple and found some respite there, some good friends, namely the high priest of the Laka Temple, who knew his name was Nyla, and the priest just allowed them to stay there, even if they didn't accept her deal, which she further elaborated on that she would want a few things to earn the favor of the temple to get them into the tournament. One of them was to broker a peace deal with the Vordai clans outside of the city and in the canyons. The other one was to clear out some of the housing areas of Snake's Vice so that the people can repopulate the district once again. The party took their time to consider these new options and and just took some time off to rest with Kimmy and Miyoko sharing a bottle of wine and letting out their true selves just for a moment. Maris and Sebastian pondered over the vials of dark ooze that Maris had acquired, and they have seen for what it has done and considered a new way of dealing with it from now. And finally, Lilipa found a little underdark grotto inside the ginormous statue of Laka that sit within the temple proper. And while Lilipa was sculpting a boat to repay the temple, she found a new acquaintance that was also cloaked and masked like her. But with further prodding, the figure ran off in further into the darkness of the Zonardark Grotto. And lastly, Anaru, prior to them going to the temple, vanished with Valdra for unknown purposes. And now the party comes back to a decision to be made. Whether they go to the canyons outside to broker a peace deal with the Vordai giants, or to go into the districts and help clear it out for the people there. And as we settle in, set the music. Because we do not start with the party proper, we start with Anaru. And it is a couple hours before the party went to the temple. Anaru, it's still around 8 o'clock in the morning. And Valdra in the crowds, she has masked herself as this sea elf with long gray hair, and as you're kind of going through the crowds, she stops you and places something in the on your chest to kind of hide, and kind of tucks it underneath your shirt, and you can feel it. It has it kind of have a mask like features, and as you kind of look down at it, it is indeed a mask, a very light one that's very light to the touch, and it feels so brittle too. You could just snap it, and as she hands you that, she leads you away and through the crowds, and she says, in your in your mind, she speaks to you, and she says, "There's no time." There's no time for questions, but just know that your name be Quinitus. You understand?
My name is Quinitus or B Quinitus?
She kind of like narrows her eyes and says, "This is a serious scenario. You're
Very well.
Quinitus."
I understand.
And as she's going through the crowds, and you're kind of going through the markets of this Quartz Bluff, you can see all the high-ranking nobility moving past you. And as you're kind of slipping through the crowds, she whispers in your mind. She says, "Place it on you."
And I'll just put it up to my face.
And you can see it just kind of seamlessly mold into your skin. And before you can take hold of this transformation, she leads you over to these mirrors that this salesman is selling. These high rising mirrors about as tall as you, and you look and you see yourself as a sky elf with darkened hair and yellow eyes, and you're wearing very illustrious ceremonial robes, and she you look to her, and she arches her eyebrow and says, "Stick to your role. Don't say too much, but if they do speak to you, just try your best to go with it."
And he just nods.
And before you know it, they're going through these alleyways and little narrow passages, and they actually go through buildings of people's houses and out through the back end towards the backyards, and eventually you get to this small little garden area where there is a well just sitting there, and she looks over at you. She says, "Don't be afraid. Just walk with me." And she grabs your hand and she leads you through this well, like straight ahead. You think you're just top over and fall into it, but you can see the vision before you get to it just kind of waves, and you go through it, and you are now inside what seems to be a building with a little hallway that cuts to the right, and you can see a dim light shining through the room, a dark or a soft red glow. And let's take it there.
I don't own a token with vision.
What about now?
I now own a token with vision.
I don't.
You don't?
No. There we go.
Okay. You do not see your friends, but they are there.
In spirit.
in spirit. And finally, as you enter this strange building, she hands you one last thing, which is a kind of strange shaped. It's kind of like an octopus, upside down octopus mask that she places on your head to mask your face. So you have a mask on another mask. And she steps out in full range of that glowing light. And she says, Nabaka is here with Quinitus. And she kind of pulls you into vision, where you can see 4 figures sitting at a table. One of them is a very short figure. 2 of them are exceptional height, above 6 feet. And then there's another one that's a little bit shorter than them, about like from 5'7" to 5'9". It's hard to tell. But they're all cloaked and they're all wearing a mask, just like yours. And one of them, the short one, stands up and says, Always late as usual. Nabaka. Quinitus, why'd you make her so late? Why didn't you rush her? A very important meeting to discuss here. And,
We were held up in the markets on our way over. The vendors tried to sell us mirrors.
the little one laughs. Always so taken by your own vanity, I see. We'll have to work on that, wouldn't we? Come, sit with us. And you see Valdra makes her way over to sit on the end of the table, and she looks over in your direction and kind of gestures to you to sit. And you hear her speak out, and she sounds much different than what you've heard prior. And she says, Please, Quinitus, have a seat.
I would join you, but my legs seem to be paused.
And as you said, the tall figure on the far end, long hands, holds a card, and they flip it over. And it is it's got a portrait of what seems to be the tournament Coliseum, and kind of like a little markings and a description that says the tournament this next month on the 1st. And the tall figure calls out, All the preparations are set. The tournament will have its celebrations. And the other tall one goes, I have also seen that there will be no escape from this celebration. And finally, the shorter one calls out and says, and looks towards the smaller figure and says, Did you not guarantee that they would be going to Snake's Vice? And the short one says, I've all but guaranteed it. They are wanting to achieve what they wish, and they have to go. And one of the tall figures calls out and says, but my agents have reported that they have found a new benefactor. The Temple of Laka. The priestess, no doubt. No less. And you see a small figure kind of clutch up his fist and slams it on the table. This is what I get for not forcing an action. Shouldn't have left him to just think about it. It's foolish of me. And you can see Baldra move up and look in your direction and then turn towards the smaller figure. What can we do to prevent them from pursuing other avenues? And one of the taller figures with a more cooler voice, not cooler, but more icy, speaks up and says, I have talked with the clans. We have something of theirs. They will not resist. Their propositions to the clans will be for naught. And if they are persistent in their endeavors to find a deal, well, we have preparations. There will be no other choice. They will go there to Snake's Vice and see for what it is. The truth will set them free. A smaller one kind of slumps down in his chair and looks at Quinitus. Please tell me the assassins are all dead.
I believe that they have all been dealt with, although it is possible one was picked up by the authorities.
You can hear him just kind of grit his teeth. And he looks over and Baldra's, you need to deal with this with your illusions and trickery. Make sure to warp that one's mind for good. Cannot have Federation dabbling in our affairs. It's good that these foolish Republic sympathizers think we're with them. But if they know our true intent, it'll all come crumbling down. And we'll have to relocate. And Valdra looks at Nanaru again and says, Quinitus and I have planned that the Federation will not discover your intentions. Our intentions. We have made plans within plans, and the Federation is easy to exploit. And another tall figure has been silent for a while, speaks up. Well, it seems that we'll have to watch them closely. We will need a way in if they are to refuse your acceptance, to make sure that they do not detract from the plan. And Valdra speaks up again. She says, I have seen to it. They have left their ship exposed. I will deal with that. Make sure that whoever they come back to will have ears for us. And all of them start nodding. And the one that's the medium height one speaks up again and says, the plan is set. We all have a duty to commit to. See to it. Be gone. And three of them step out. Or get out of their chairs and start to leave. And you see Valdra get up and start moving. And this short figure as you try to leave, Quintus, he pulls your arm. He says, "There's something about you that's different, Quintus. I smell fear. You fear what's to come."
It is more a smell of excitement for the change that is about to occur.
I want you to do a perception check for me.
15.
You smell rich smells off him as he grabs your arm. Very familiar smells. And he lets go of you. Says, "Don't let it break your nerves, what is to come. You aren't used to all of this cutthroat ways. But I guarantee you, Quintus, it is the way." The Titan will return to us, and you will see in his glory. And I promise you, all of this will be worth it. And it lets go. And Baldra speaks out and says again, "Do not worry. I will lead Quintus on the right path. Now, we shall be gone." And she leads you off outside of the building, back into the streets, or just outside of that little garden area, and eventually back through the crowds. And then she kind of like goes for like a hug, where she kind of wraps her hands around you, and a sort of a you can feel this kind of wind pickup, and the outfit dissipates. And you notice yourself got similar features to where you were prior as a Triton. And Baldra kind of leads you back through the kind of alleyways of Quartz Bluff. And she, as you're kind of walking, she looks back at you and says, "I didn't mean to keep that from you. I didn't want you to worry while I was out."
We need to warn Lyric that the ship is vulnerable. He needs to move it or make it safe somehow. I need to tell the rest of the plan of what is happening. What is happening?
She turns to you and stops you. "You cannot tell Lyric. You cannot tell the rest of them. We need to allow whatever their plan is to happen, so we can expose them. If we call out their game now, we may lose them forever. I show you this to you because I know I can trust you, for you are connected to Moa as I am."
Do you know the identities of any of those that were in the room?
I have a few ideas, but again, they're only ideas and guesses.
I may know who one of them is.
And she just kind of crosses her arms and looks at you.
The smaller one that was there, he smelled nice. And nice is an understatement. It was he smelled of money, of rich perfumes and expensive clothing and shampoo. I haven't smelled that on anyone aside from the king, and aside from, well, a certain owner of an establishment that we've been to recently.
Tyrion spas.
I wonder if that's how they knew that we were at the tavern, and how the assassins found us.
Could be. We can't speculate now, but we can go on that information. We have to plan. We have to act within the shadows.
I'm gonna spoiler, but I don't get the spoiler.
Anari, you must just hold steady. I know it is unlike you to wait, but Moa decrees it. It is the way.
I will do my best to keep this from the rest.
We must return to them, though. At once. Oh, and she looks back. You will have to go. I must keep the role I've been assigned. And I must watch Larrick. I promise no harm will come to him.
I mean, if you could do something to his hands so that he never has to cook again, that would, wouldn't be the worst.
She slowly nods and smiles. She says, You always know how to make light of a situation. Thank you, Honora." And she walks off in a different direction than you.
And I'm just in like the middle of like the markets.
Mm-hmm. Back.
Did she take back the mask that she gave me?
No, you're still having it, and it's in your inventory.
What about the upside down octopus one?
No, she took that with her.
Okay.
Right. And as you follow your way back, knowing where they had left off to, you travel through the Quartz Bluff towards the Temple of Laka. And we cut away from them. We return back to the comfy loft that is the Temple of Laka. Inside the cozy little rooms that set up, where we pull into a scene where Sebastian and Maris are over this kind of alchemist table, just looking over these vials and what have you, and nodding along and writing down some notes and having discussions about what they have found. Do you two say anything or do anything?
Sebastian, just want to thank you, by the way, for always looking out with us with that bird of yours.
Oh, well, I mean, it's more gratuitous than I would say about him, but I'm sure he'll appreciate that.
The bird flies up on Sebastian's shoulder and goes, "Observation. I prefer the monk now."
nightmares of it. So what do you take of all this? The vials that we found, the destroyed temple, Federation involvement. I feel like there's a lot more happening.
Let me ask you this: like, you studied at this school to become a monk. Like, did you do that for most of your life?
Yes. In fact, since I was young, I was not with my family. They perished in the war. But besides being a monk, I've only seen a little bit of battle and had much going on.
Well, I mean, I hate to break it to you, but there's always something going on anywhere. You turn over enough rocks, you're gonna find either dirt or find something that you probably don't want to ever see again.
Notice in the temple that there is quite a bit of worms and bugs infecting Cain's teachings and warping them into their own mind. It's disturbing.
Well, I mean, that's sadly what happens to some people, is that you think you know who they are, and then the next thing you know, they're a completely different person.
Big proprietor and not holding back secrets. It's on my sleeve, so to speak. I hope one day that you feel like you can open up fully, talk who you are and where you came from. Feel like take a. I know information is key in power.
Maybe someday. But I do appreciate your awareness that I'm not trying to be a dick, but I'm very cautious with who's around me, because sometimes those people that are the closest to you are the easiest to sneak a dagger into places that you thought were guarded.
Indeed. Well, you won't have to worry about me sticking daggers. It usually be a dart or a fist or a staff, but no dagger. It's not my.
Well, that's good. That'll make me sleep better at night. That I won't get stabbed to death. I'll just get bludgeoned to death.
I think with your arsenal, anybody who would try to sneak up on you would be in for a rude awakening. That gun you had was amazing.
And you see, kind of like, just like looks at, because he probably has it on the table.
Mhm. And you can see it is just glimmering with this this white steel, and these coils in the middle of it that just have a slight surge of electrical that goes through it, and it is utterly alien in design from all your other technologies you have looked at. Some things in the city of Ilo have bared some resemblance to this, but this one in particular is a phenomenon.
I don't know who or what was down in that temple, or what they brought down in that temple, but I don't like guns, Maris. But I know how they work. And I know what they can do to people, to a person. And I've always been pretty vigilant about trying to make sure certain knowledge doesn't fall in other hands. And this, I shouldn't even have it in my hands, because I can't even fathom. I understand the simplicities and the certain mechanics of how it works, but on this caliber, if someone found out how to mass produce it, it could be the end of all days.
82 chirps up and says, clarification. This one was mass-produced during the times of Xenos. Not this particular model, but the design is similar.
Well, let's keep it that this got buried with all the other ones. And I don't mean to use it, but when I saw those people moving in during Kimmy's performance, that one big fucker, well, I mean, that's a pretty easy target, so I said fuck it.
Fair enough. Being a monk, one of the things, especially a monk of death and life, one of the things you have to appreciate is knowing how to take somebody from this world. Might not be the best thing. It might be a necessary act. It's hard. It's not something easy. So I commend you for being thoughtful and mindful what it means to hold this power. And I'm going to hold up a vial. And that's why I think you should be the one holding these. But like, you are the best of us when it comes to restraint using dangerous items. Very cautious. And I think that's where the smarter person would be.
Oh, sorry.
Uh-oh.
And I'm the DM. Everybody levels up.
Hey!
Whoopsie. Sorry to take away from that moment. Continue, please.
Yes,
Wow.
but yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, hopefully that we don't have to use any of this in any kind of similar caliber as any of the weapons I have. But I don't know. It's a lot to think that this is somewhat being fabricated and pushed around on the streets like it's a commodity, to see what it did to that one man. He probably had no idea. They just said this will make you powerful.
Speaking of things being powerful, you are aware that Miyoko does have magic.
But
Mhm.
no,
Did you-
she not. All she has is that sword, and she gets other people to do things for her.
I hate to break it to you, Sebastian, but she turned into a giant, very bulbous and muscular bird in the
Mhm.
last fight.
The last what? Did she touch the black ichor?
No, I would recommend. You asked me to keep an eye on Miyoko, and because they've been acting weird. I think there's a lot more than you realize happening. I commend you if you, next time we are in battle, sit close and watch closer.
I can say Maris to see if he's bullshitting me.
You can insight, and then Maris can set his own DC.
0.
You
39.
auto succeed, buddy. Wow!
6.
Wow! Damn!
You know, it's funny because the rolls all for Miyoko Magic are terrible for me and Sebastian.
I
It's a
feel like-
losing battle, Jermaine.
I feel like Maris was being very genuine, but you still don't believe him just quite. You don't know if there's something behind the mask.
I probably like nod hearing what Maris says, and then I just have a flash of like the first time like interacting with Miyoko of her running up and going, "Oh, Mr. Sebastian, won't you protect me?" And I'm just like, "It's bullshit. It's utter bullshit. It's a ruse." And I just talked myself out of Maris trying to convince me. I'm the one that goofed it. Well, we'll see about that. I'll try to keep an eye on her, but
Enough. I'm going to let you go and think about that. If you need anything, you know where to find me. Oh, here. I have some other. I have to go to my room and find the other plants I procured from the. But once I find those, I'll bring them. I feel like you can help me make good use of them. So I know DM. I don't know what those plants were. I can't find them anymore. There's like 2 other ones. I have no idea.
Well, that will be adjusted
ran
on the
away.
break. But right now,
Uh.
Maris is about to leave. If you would like to say anything.
I was just gonna tell him like, I mean, we can try. I mean, I personally would like to get something more than, and then just motion at the table that's just haphazardly it doesn't even look like a workstation. It just looks like he pulled out a card table and he's trying to do some work on it, and there's like a candle that's hanging, like trying to make a focus light, and it doesn't look right. It looks so haggard.
Enough.
But maybe we can go shopping at the Lockamart or whatever with the component material people. But I don't know. I gotta try to make something because they want me to sacrifice it. I don't understand that at all. I don't get most religions and that kind of nature. But if they want a trinket, I'll make a little toy or something. I don't know.
We'll make a trip soon, and then I'll.
You gonna go with him, 85? He's the new daddy.
85 chirps up and says, conclusion. Not yet, but in time.
Oh, okay.
And you leave the room with Sebastian and 85 working at that workstation. And we cut away to the room across the way with Lilliput, not Lilliput, Kimmy and Miyoko. Already a couple glasses in. Still enjoying their day together.
Care for another glass?
I don't think I should.
Oh, come on. Hey, just one
Why are you so forward about this?
I don't know. I'm having fun with you. I'm gonna have one more.
All right, that sounds like a Constitution check to me.
Oh, what?
roll it, Kimmy.
Is it a saving throw or a check?
Yeah, saving throw, please.
20.
Ooh.
Damn, you really put those away.
I know. I thought like this would have some kind of weird effect on you or something.
Are you sure you never drank before?
Nope, this is my first time.
Hmm.
I mean, I've always
That's
been
good.
around it, and I've seen other people, and wow, they can get pretty wiped. But for me, it's like tasting a nice fruit juice.
Well, it will make the killing later today much easier.
Killing?
Well, we gotta kill that guy, you remember?
Oh, I thought maybe we were gonna, go with the church and do the peace thing
Why not both?
because
They both
murder.
pay. That guy's murdering everyone right now.
Yeah, well, maybe we could like arrest him or something. Have justice brought upon him.
That is true. We get him arrested, then we cut off his pinky. We bring it to the man and say he's dead. We get paid twice.
But that's lying.
But that's money, Kim.
I don't know. Maybe we could just, maybe he could just, admit his crimes, and maybe, he'd want to just hang himself.
Kimmy, I'm sorry to say this, but I don't think the guy from the bath house is a good man either.
Yeah,
I think,
I had a funny feeling about him.
yeah, I think when he asked us to kill someone, he kind of proves that.
Yeah, no kidding.
So we can lie to him and get paid more. And we don't kill a person.
Maybe we should ask the others.
That sounds
we are
like a
group.
plan. Lilipa will say something smart.
Just one more thing, Miyoko.
Eh.
Like, next to Lilipa, of course, because I've known her forever. But, you're the only person here that I really feel connected with, Like, I feel like I talk to you about anything.
Well, have you drank with anybody else?
No, exactly.
Well, there you go.
The others, well, sometimes I feel like, I don't know, I get in the way, or I'm not confident enough, or I don't know, I feel like everybody thinks I'm like a kid, which, I am pretty unworldly, so.
I think. Well, let's see. You're taller than Lilipa, but they treat you like a kid. Maybe you need to get wider. Just put on the muscle.
Well, that's a good idea.
They don't treat Lilipa like a kid.
No.
Well, Sebastian does, but
I mean, we fake pretend, because, the secrets. I don't know, I just feel like you're so good with, like, your magic, and you seem like you can handle yourself so well, like, I don't know, maybe you could teach me a thing or two, and maybe it could help me be more, useful.
oh, Kim, you are very useful. You keep bringing people back to life when they are about to die. I can't do that.
I mean, barely, but,
You play music so good that you bring people back from the brink of death.
Well, you play music so good, you put people to death.
Well, I'm not really playing music. I am just pretending with my weird throat thing I do.
Yeah, but it's so beautiful and unique.
Yeah, but it's not unique, so that's the thing. It's all things I've heard before. Even this voice is somebody else's voice.
What? Really?
Yeah. That's how Kenku work. You kinda just get the voice of the one you've heard the longest.
So you don't have your own voice?
No. There are entire families of Kenku who all have the same voice. They just keep passing it down.
Wow. I never knew
Yeah.
that. Well,
Maybe I should just start using your voice.
well, that'd be funny. I've never talked to myself, I mean, well, in my head before.
You should give it a whirl sometime.
Yeah, maybe. Well, maybe we should get with the others, and discuss the whole thing about lying and cutting off people's pinkies.
Yeah, sounds like a plan.
Also, thank you for listening to me. And, maybe later we could do some sparring.
Oh, Kimmy, that sounds great. We need to get you ready to beat up those college students we bumped into.
Yeah, definitely.
There's bloodlust in Kimmy's eyes.
Shing!
And as is to celebrate their bonded moments over violence, we cut away to another scene. Near the in the grand halls of the Temple of Laka, with a giant statue of the tortoise that is supposed to be Laka. At the bottom of it, the priestess Nyla stands with Lilipa as they look at this impressively crafted boat. And Nyla looks down at Lilipa and says, "This is quite wonderful what you have crafted here."
Just standing there, like, just kind of, thank you. It was a craft that was passed down to me by somebody, a mentor who is no longer here.
Have you lived in Lancashire long?
No, this is my first time visiting.
Where are you from? And she kind of kneels down to look over the craftsmanship.
She, like, pauses for a second. She's like, I am from Zaritan's Gate.
A wonderful city rich with culture. Is this where you learned the craft from?
He's quiet. He's like,
She looks back at you and she says, "I'm sorry, I don't mean to pry. I just want to give thanks to whoever gifted you this gift of what you possess. In the religion of Laka, it's always a blessing to give thanks to our mentors. For without them, we would not have the skills we have."
Yes, sometimes I feel like I did not thank him enough. But it is too late for such things. But wherever he has gone now, I hope he knows that I have not forgotten what he has taught me.
She smiles and she puts her hand on the boat and she says, "If he was just as good as you in the way you craft the ship, then he is with Laka now, and he looks down upon you. Forever proud of where you'll come from, what you have gifted to the world. I'm sure of it."
Thank you.
What will you do with this?
It is to be given to Laka. I'm quite close to Kimmy, and she seems happy here, so I would like to gift this in hopes to earn favor, so that she may stay here longer.
She looks at you and widens her eyes and smiles and says, "You truly are a good friend indeed, and we will graciously accept this gift."
Thank you. It is a stealth ship for one person, mainly used for fishing back when it was around. And she like points to some mechanisms. Because it is easily can be easily concealed and taken wherever you need to go, and like she like shows like some hinges on it and kind of like folds it up so it's more like compact and carryable.
She's just starstruck seeing you do all these maneuvers, and she says, "I don't even think some of our best boatsmen could do this. If you take your craft and make a trade of it, you would earn well."
I have thought about it, but other career paths caught me first.
She nods. "I understand. I too could have done my weaving, but Laka called to me, and now I serve him as his priestess, yeah. Though it has been hard being a person of Laka in these trying times. I know if it has to be anyone, it has to be us to take the burden."
Why not weave in spare time? I'm sure there are nights when you cannot sleep. Why not do it then?
It is difficult. There are too many souls here that need our prayers, need Laka to hear them. I cannot give up on that. It is a tireless task.
I think Laka would want you to have some sort of escape in your life, but you may do as you please. I have one question, if I can ask.
Go ahead.
There is a strange child that I met in your Underdark garden, which is very beautiful, by the way. Give them my thanks for letting me use the space. They ran off before I could talk to them more.
I did not think they would show themselves to a new person. You must have... It must be those goggles, then, to see down there in the dark.
They were concealed like I am, so I did not get look of their face.
You do remind me of them in some ways.
Well, give them my thanks regardless. I did not mean to frighten them, but that's part of the garden. It brings me much comfort, more than I care to admit.
You may visit there anytime you wish. And
Thank you.
if there was peace within the city, mayhaps I will join you there someday. Yeah.
You can show me your weaving.
She smiles. And she stands up and she says, "I do not feel hesitant in telling you, but that one's name is Malura. If you see them again, use that name."
Okay, thank you very much for this information. And before you go, it is tradition that boats be named before they go and serve their purpose. What will you name this boat?
I think... Let me see. The Winds of Forge. I believe we will call it that.
It's an excellent name.
She nods and says, Laka will bless you. And exchange. She receives something from her pouch. And it's a few little bottles that clink. Wherever you're going, it will be dangerous. Take these. You get 4 potions of greater healing.
He just takes them and goes like, this is quite generous.
What you have given me is a gift unto itself. It's only good for me to have an exchange. Thank you.
Thank you.
And as you two are about to depart from each other, you look up and you see, coming out of the hallway, is Onaru himself. And she goes, a guest. She walks over. Well, I will see you then. She looks at Lilliput.
Yes, actually, she like looks at Anaru and it's just kind of like, hello.
Anaru is just like sweating bullets, trying to keep his mouth shut.
She looks at Lilliput. This one is with you then?
Yes, he was
Shopping! I was shopping.
I see you have also gone to Lockamart. No, I'm just kidding.
Come
I can't, I'm sorry.
It's canon now.
I know.
on down to Lockamart.
But no, I'm sorry. Oh, if that's where you were, all right. She just kind of is like, well, we have taken shelter here for now, and the others are discussing what to do next, but it seems that we might be staying here for an extended period.
The priestess looks at Anaru and says, "Is this something wrong? Do you require healing?"
No, I am fine. It was just a long day of holding purses and watching people enter and leave shops. Just, I was just watching. That's how it goes.
He slowly nods.
Philippa
I
had
think I have.
eyebrows.
I think I have business to attend to. Feel free to observe the statue here and make your prayers at the prayer circles and all that. And if you need me, I'll be over here. She walks off.
As she walks by, can I take a big whiff?
Yeah, very plainly, like nothing to it, just soap. Clean.
She's clean. We can trust her.
And now you and Anaru and Lopa stand in the middle of this great hall with a giant tortoise statue behind you.
So, we are staying in a turtle church.
I believe it is called Laka, although I am not very familiar with the religion. You are what sometimes Kimmy says, sweating bullets.
Mhm.
You okay?
And he'll just his brow. It's... I can't tell you where I was or what I was doing, but it was not shopping.
Okay. I must ask though, is this something that is dangerous for us?
Maybe, but I have been promised that we will be taken care of and protected in whatever is to come.
It's like, I do not understand why you are telling me this, but you refuse to tell me what is the matter.
I think a spell was cast on me. If I tell you, I may die.
It is a sacrifice that you will have to make then.
But I will die.
Inaro, you are brave. I'm sure you will be fine.
He kind of leans out the door, making sure that nobody's there. It's just him and Lilipa.
There's a giant grand hall, so you like look to your left, big stretch of the hall, and then to your right, nobody. You do, after a couple minutes, the priests do come by, as you guys were talking prior, pick up the boat and take it off. That's all you see.
I have somewhere where we can go. And she puts out her hand for you to take it.
Yeah, he'll take her hand.
And she'll start leading him to the little Underdark grotto.
So you lead up the steps of the giant tortoise statue, and you go through this kind of grotto with various different types of trees from different hemispheres and climates, and different flowers, and eventually Lilipa leads you to the center of it, where there's a hole that drops down, and you can see edges of this kind of cave, or in the hole, that have these kind of fungi and different underdark growings. And Lilipa climbs down, and you climb down with her. And a couple minutes pass before you're just totally in darkness. And all you do is hear is the occasional drops of water, and Lilipa's feet clapping down and finding footing on the in the Underdark grotto.
Does Inaro have dark vision?
I do, but if it's pitch black, I don't think I can see.
Yeah, pitch black.
Well then, just
I mean, you
keep
do
holding
see
my
like the
little
faint.
hand.
You see the faint light from the top, but only a little bit.
He's just going like this, trying to see if he can see his hand in front of his face.
This is what is the matter?
He takes a deep breath. Okay, so Vulture and I, we went to this secret meeting, and he just like quickly just spills, and every time he hears a little drip of water, he'll stop.
Could I really quickly just when he starts getting real deep into it, like Lilipa's eyes just go like what? And can I activate where is my character sheet?
As if your eyes can't get any wider. They did
As-
that day.
They did that day.
You become a beholder.
And just for extra, just seeing anything that could be around.
So you start seeing the thin lines kind of illuminate this underdark area for you. I mean, it was already visible, but now it's just got a wonderful cast of colors of blues, reds, yellows. It's just a lovely little area. And you do see at the far end of it, you do see that cloaked figure just kind of sitting down there, and like little buggy eyes with like colored eyes looking back at you.
Just gonna, whatever part of Naru's on, she just immediately slaps her hand over his mouth, like. Psh. What was the name again?
Melora.
Naru, we have company.
He takes out his trident. Where? This. Nobody can know this.
She just looks at like the irony of it, like. Naru, put that away. Melora.
You see the figure just pop its head up. And it starts to stand up and adjust their cloak. And then kind of just wobbles over in your direction. Is that you, Nyla?
It is Lilliput.
Who is Lilliput?
We met, was it yesterday or earlier that day?
It was a couple hours ago.
Okay. We met a few hours ago. You ran away.
Yeah. It is hard to remember.
Can you please come here? I promise no harm will come to you. Right, Naru?
As long as whatever happens in this cave stays in this cave.
I think they are some kind of child. I'm not sure.
Melora steps into a closer proximity. Not into view because Naru still can't see. But Melora calls out and says, "Who is that with you? Is that a friend or foe?"
It is Naru, and he is a friend.
The figure steps closer, and now they're like 20 feet away from you. You can see them kind of shaking a little bit.
Are you all right, Melora?
I am adjusting. It is taking some time. I'm still weak.
Is there something we can do to help you?
They hold out their hands, and you can see little pointed ends at them, and say, "Nyla says, give it time. Takes time for muscles to regrow."
That is true. There are exercises you can do to help with this.
And they perk their head. Exercises. Word. Coming back. Steps forward, and then they kind of fall down. They try to get back up, but they just wobble, and their legs just kind of wobble, and they just lay there. I lay here.
Here, like, Naru, please help me. She'll slowly approach Melora. And are they just still just kind of laying there?
Yeah, pretty much.
May we help you up?
Melora goes, yes, you may.
And she'll take one arm and like motion to Anaro, like her arm right there, like kind of lead it.
And y'all
He picks up a rock. Oh, she's quite heavy for a child.
No, it's I will do it. And she'll help Melora up.
And Melora is much lighter than a rock. Like you feel like you're picking up like a paperweight. And her legs are just dangling, her arms are dangling. She says, it is nice not being able to walk. Being carried is nice.
Oh, I do not think I can carry you for the rest of my life.
Disappointment. And you put her back down where you guys are. And Melora just kind of rubs her legs and arms. Why are you down here?
We came down here to... I wanted to show Anaro what the Underdark looked like. Or as close as it can get.
And Melora looks over at Naru. Memories. Tethys.
Yes, that is where I am from.
And she just kind of clutches her head. I have a headache.
May I? And like she kind of just like, may I look?
Be careful. I don't want to whip the suit Nyla made for me.
I will be as gentle as possible. And just gonna take off hood and
And as Lillipa reaches for the hood, pulls it back, we're going to take our first break.
ta-da!
As both of her hands fall to the floor.
She's fake.
As she,
Nyla's
as
just
she
5
melts in a
mimics.
puddle of acid.
Oh no.
Literally animated hood and pants.
It's 3 goblins in a trench coat.
All right, so we'll be back after a 15-minute break, and we'll continue with part 2 of our session. We'll see you then.
Yay.
All right. So welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to part 2 of session 2.5/session 38. Glad to have you. Let's get back into it, shall we? We cut away dramatically just for a little bit as Maris and Sebastian have grouped up with Miyoko and Kimmy. Well, Maris and Sebastian, you come in and you see Miyoko and Kimmy sharing a few glasses or two of wine together. You say anything or discuss? They're just perplexed and puzzled. Like, Kimmy drinking? This is not her.
Who's
Miyoko
shit-faced?
not drinking, Kimmy yes drinking.
I'm not. I'm completely sober, even though I had like 3 drinks.
Kimmy,
Oh, hi guys. How are you up
I
to?
wanted to say
Sorry, what did you
thanks
say?
again, by the way, just supporting me when we were dealing with Federation.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Oh god, everybody,
no.
everybody's a robot. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Sadie!